You're listening to Brigade Radio 1.
Welcome to the Antisocial Show.
Hi everybody, it's Tyson. Thanks for listening. So this episode is episode 88, as you can see. This is our first attempt to record on Discord. And the sound quality was significantly worse than what you're going to hear. Just keep that in mind. I'd like to apologize for how bad it actually does sound. But I guess, we could try Discord again in the future and maybe get a better result. Maybe I just don't know enough about how to process it completely, or not process it, but how to keep it from sounding terrible. But it does. And again, I apologize. So this also has content that was recorded more recently than pretty much anything else that you've heard up to this point, as will the next episode and the episode following that. And then eventually we'll be all caught up and we might actually be able to get our most current content in relation to when you hear it. I don't know how else to put that. Also, I could be wrong, but it is pretty recent. So you can check the listing on SoundCloud or the description for the recording date. It's right there. And I appreciate your patience throughout this last year or so where uploads have been sparse. But I'm really trying to get back into the swing of things. I've got Succotash Shut-In going in. Every other Tuesday I've got one, and there is one coming out every Tuesday. Mark Hershon takes the other ones. Some of you may not know that. I've got episodes of Tyson Saner Gamer that I've put together, and there are many in the archive. I've had some recently, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And, you don't necessarily have to watch my videos, but please subscribe. And, of course, my SoundCloud is www.tysonsaner.com, or just put Tyson Saner in SoundCloud. All the usual stuff, Hunter says hi, Laura says hi, Jareth says hi, everybody says hi, and we all say thank you. It's November 4th. There's a banana slug on my Instagram today. The election has just taken place, and there are no final results as of me recording this. By the time the show comes out, which should be Friday or Saturday of this same week, we should know who the President of the United States will be for theoretically the next 4 years. So, yay! Alright, be decent to each other. And buy a copy of Hope by Corey Epps and myself. I put a lot of work into that with the music, and so did Corey put a lot of work into getting his performance right, and it'd be really nice if you could also check out his music. And Corey Epps is KOREYEPPS. He's a frequent guest. You can catch him on Twitter at HardKBBM. That is capital H, A-R-D, capital K, capital B, capital B, capital M. All right. Again, thank you for listening. Peace.
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming to get you.
Your hosts, Underblock and Tyson Saner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Antisocial Show, the only show where one half of this bad boy is being recorded on Earth 2. I'm Hunter Block, and he's
Tyson Saner of Earth 2.
Of Earth 2. Now,
apparently.
The reason why I mentioned this was, so last Monday, dear listener, Tyson and I were messaging or texting. And he told me that he had uploaded a new video on Tyson Saner Gamer of a new game. So I said, okay, I'm going to go check it out, which I did. And I saw the whole goatee thing that's going on with Tyson, which is quite cool, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
I wasn't prepared for this. So, and it reminded me that I think going back 2 years ago, we had a conversation where we were talking about our Earth 2 doppelgangers, and I said that, you know, your doppelganger had a goatee, and his hair was slicked back, and he was like an evil version of you. So that's what I literally thought I was looking at. I mean, like, with everything that's going on right now, I wouldn't, like, dispute the idea that, you know, maybe your doppelganger did come from Earth 2 and took over, you know, and sent you to Earth 2. Like, you know, Earth 1's Tyson is now on Earth 2, and Earth 2's Tyson is now over here. So, you know, anything's possible.
I hear what you're saying. So, like, perhaps we have, like, there's been a hole torn in the fabric of the space-time continuum, and we are in a alternate universe as part of a greater multiverse.
Correct. Or
yeah, sure.
if you really are Earth 2 Tyson, maybe you found a way to jump to different multiverses, and you came here secretly and sent our Tyson over to Earth 2, and you came over here just to check things out. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to entirely put that on the shelf yet. So, but no, the goatee does look good, dude. I like it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's you know, I wear a mask most of the time, so this part of my face is usually covered.
Well, I hear that. Now, we are on.
I'm just saying, that's not like an explanation as to why I have this. But
well, maybe
it does factor in.
Right. Was it like something new? Like you wanted to do something like different, or you just decided one day I got tired of shaving?
Well, this is the thing. So if I don't shave on my cheeks, basically where I would normally, like I'd shave everything. But what I notice is if I don't shave for like a week or something, and just enough stubble grows out, that a lot of it grows in white. And as I would be longer between sessions of shaving, I noticed that it would grow in dark and kind of a pattern that kind of looked sort of vaguely like sinister or Bond villain-esque or something. Like it's dark here, and then it was white here. So I knew it would come in white on my cheeks, but I was noticing there was still color distinction. I'm like, I never really grew this in dark before. So I thought, well, why don't I just let's let it grow, you know, and see what happens. Because I do have a goatee. I've had a goatee on and off throughout my life. Or a Van Dyke, I guess.
I think I remember the Van Dyke when we first.
Well, this is a Van Dyke.
Yes, but you had a goatee and a ponytail some years odd back when we first met.
That's true.
And over the years, you lost the ponytail and you went to a clean-shaven face.
Also true.
Yep.
That's also true. Sorry.
It's nice to see. You know, the goatee looks good, dude. It suits you. I like it.
Thank you. I probably won't keep it forever, but you know, I just thought I'd try and take advantage of the interesting coloration at this point in my time, you know, until it changes. As who knows how it's going to look.
Speaking of changes, so some odd years back, if anyone out there has been, you know, watching the Facebook videos that I've been posting on our page, you noticed that I started off with a clean-shaven face, and now I have a full-blown goatee I've had for the past 2 years now. And I've almost become like Bob Ross, because you know how, like, for example, Bob Ross had like that big old fro, you know, going on?
Yes.
He absolutely hated it. But unfortunately, because he became... I don't want to say he was like an ultra celebrity, but because he was, you know, doing the show, selling, you know, the paintings and whatnot, they wouldn't let him do anything with that, because that basically became like his signature trademark, was the perm deal going on. And I almost feel like that because the wife doesn't want me to shave this off. And so I went to work, and I got a couple of different opinions. I'm like, what do you think? You think I should shave it off? And everyone said no. So I kind of feel like I'm stuck with this now. I mean, I know I can theoretically shave it off if I wanted to, but now at this point in time, I just, you know, I'm like, screw it. I guess let's.
You know, what's funny is that it's actually quite hard to see at the moment, because it's very, because you're backlit, kind of like I'm side lit. You know, I've got my lamp there. I have an overhead light I could turn on, but I just haven't. So
I am in what's now the new and permanent forever home of, this is the studio on my side of the earth, of Antisocial Show.
Yay!
this is the new studio, so thank you. And Tyson, I noticed you got a new recording studio as well. Congratulations.
Oh, I have my own room, yeah.
Yes. Well, the thing about it is that this room has a couple of quirks to it that I need to, work out. Like, for example, more permanent lighting, so that I can, have more illuminance or luminescence, whatever that word is.
Illumination.
Illumination. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I need. I need to have like a ceiling mount light. But also, too, I have a fan running in the back because there's also no... This whole house has central AC and heating, but this room does not, because this room was a back porch. And the previous owners, I guess, or the previous owners before them, they took and converted this into an actual room. So this now is an actual carpeted room with windows and walls and everything else. It's just, that's all they really did to it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are those your animal skulls?
Yes, in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started putting up stuff. I mean, I went 21 days, I think, with just the basic setup in here, and I said, you know what, yesterday, I said, screw it, I got, start hanging some stuff on the wall and start putting some life into this place, so. Oh,
yeah, I got you. Yeah, so what I've got behind me is actually probably going to change eventually, because we have our first green screen that we put together using PVC pipes and felt and safety pins. I transported it over here. I've got to give the felt a wash, but once that's taken care of, they'll be reconstructing the green screen and sliding it in behind me, and probably also tidying up the frame a bit where I'm at, because I will be attempting to put myself in my gaming videos with back in for streaming. And do the old green screen thing. It's like I have a green screen, I just don't use it normally for my gaming because it takes so much time to set up the other one that we have. And I just wanted to create content, and I have so much archived at the moment. So the irony is that I ended up with more than I can, that I have time to work on and release all of it. It doesn't matter. Stuff's coming out at some point. It's so yeah.
No. Didn't you used to use you used to use green screen back in the day for gaming, right? Content back in the day?
Yeah, we put it up for Laura. Like with Laura, it was for gaming outside my comfort zone. Her show. We had the same green screen that I'm describing before we could afford a one with curtain and stands and its own lighting rig and whatnot, which was not that expensive, but like. Felt pretty big time. But I mean, yeah, the old felt one works just fine. Anyway, the point, we used to have like a lamp, literally lamp, just like at the right angle to get the even lighting on the. Anyway, I don't know if any of this tech talk is necessary.
Well. Probably not, but considering the fact...
So yes is the short answer. Yes, we used to use green screen, but it was her show. Sorry.
Right. Well, if you think about it, since we don't really necessarily know who's out there listening to us, maybe somebody out there does find that, particular technical stuff interesting, because maybe they're trying to do something, and you just help them out in a big bad way by, describing what it is that you did. This way they can duplicate, not so much like, rip off your show or nothing like that, but, duplicate the green screen so that they can do something similar. So maybe that does help. This is what we're here for. We're here to help the masses in any way possible. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the secret Big Mac sauce, but...
the secret Big Mac sauce.
Yes, so you know how, like, for example, for years and years and years, the sauce they used on the Big Mac was like a secret.
It was just called special sauce. I didn't know it was called secret sauce.
Well, special sauce, the Big Mac sauce, whatever it is.
It could have been secret sauce, and I didn't know. It was secret sauce, and then became special sauce once it was not a secret what was in it.
Right. That's what I mean. Now you can find they tell you what the ingredients are, so you can, make it at home or buy it in the restaurant and stuff.
You just realized I have forgotten which fast food chain we are talking about.
McDonald's.
That's what I thought. So like 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun.
It was special sauce. My bad.
Well, it wasn't, but it wasn't that. But it could have been secret sauce, or
could have been.
before. Like I was imagining the scenario where it had been at one point. But I just know up to that point, it had become. And sometimes companies have to do that. They have to alter their brands, and then they just reincorporate it into their advertising stuff. They evolve.
I think I had a Mandela
Effect.
Effect. Yeah, I think I experienced the Mandela effect where I thought something was but isn't, and for all I know, you know what? It is the special sauce, not the secret sauce. I don't know why I was thinking secret sauce. I think because for the longest time nobody knew what was in it, even though people had a general idea of what was in it, and it turns out they were just right anyway. But yeah, I just experienced the Mandela effect. That's all.
Okay.
It happens.
Yeah, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. So, stuff just gets in my head sometimes.
That's stuck in your head, dude. I mean, quite clearly, not that we've ever talked about it, but I don't think you've ever worked for McDonald's, right?
No, I did very briefly. I have worked for McDonald's. I worked for a few different fast food places and pizza places. I also worked for buffets, doing dishwashing. I worked a lot in the food service industry in the early part of my life.
Sweet.
Yeah, so there was, but I learned the songs from because they were always advertising on Saturday morning cartoons. So you'd see McDonald's commercials all the time. So it'd be toys.
Yeah.
It would be McDonald's, and by the way, it was McDonald Land with the psychedelic imagery, and well, it's not psychedelic, but with the Fry Guys, those puppets with the puppets. McDonald Land with the puppets. You get Grimace. I remember original Grimace. OG Grimace.
The Hamburglar,
Robble Robble before his face changed.
Yep.
Birdie. They evolved over years. I remember when they introduced the McNugget puppets, and this is all this is all inside. So that's why I also learned the menu song briefly. There was a sweepstakes involving the menu song, which was Big Mac, McDLT, a quarter pounder with some cheese, filet fish, a hamburger, filet fish, a hamburger, a Happy Meal, tasty goldens, French fries, regular and largest sizes, salad, chef or garden, or chicken salad, Oriental, big breakfast, city McMuffins, hot cakes and biscuits, maybe something sausage, Danish hash brown 2 and 4 dessert, hot apple pies, a sundae, 3 varieties, soft serve cone, 3 kinds of shake, and chocolate chip cookies, and a drink of Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, an orange drink of Sprite, a coffee, decaf 2, low-fat milk, and also orange juice. I love McDonald's, good times, great taste, and I get this all at one place. And that wasn't 100% perfect, but that's what I remember of that.
You know what that just reminded me of, dude? Aside from the mid '80s to late '80s, especially around Halloween time when McDonald's dominated with their Halloween commercials and stuff like that, with the plastic buckets that can double back as trick-or-treating bags. At least that was a thing over here on this side of the earth. But, dear listener, going back a couple years ago, Tyson and I had created a haunted tour, a virtual haunted or audio haunted tour for your mind. And, we are working on a part 2. But in part 1, there was a room called TV Room Hell.
Oh, yeah, TV Hell.
TV Hell. That's it. And the dude was there forever. There was a dude in there watching infomercials, and that's just what that reminded me of.
Well, by the way, I would like to really clarify. Oh, thank you. That to me goes the ba-da-ba-ba, I'm loving it, or whatever. I'm going to do the thing. Yeah, so TV Hell, real quick. So there was a guy named Sam Houses that used to put together video compilations in multiple TVs, and he'd have that room. So it was referred to as TV Hell in that, and it was referred to TV Hell in quotes in the script when I wrote it, because it was basically my way of recollecting what it was. I go, okay, I know what that is. It's a room full of TVs, TV Hell. And, but I did not create that idea, and I'm sure that it's been done in some form over the years, but,
probably.
But the idea of it, and also, by the way, how do you evoke that in an audio way? So in the script, it's just some guy who's in purgatory, or essentially, or in that state that he was in the show, or in the walkthrough show. Anyway, my point is, it was all based on various rooms that I remember from the very short time that I was involved with the Pretenders production people who put together that haunted house. And so it was kind of like in the spirit of one of those walkthroughs, and then I just put in a whole bunch of old Hollywood references and whatnot, because I like old Hollywood references. Also, by the way, I had a question about... sorry, did you want to say more about the haunted tour, or...
Oh, no, I had one other thing to say, but go ahead. What was your question?
Well, I just had a question about the... so you're saying earlier when you saw that I had a goatee that you'd seen me in my new video, the video for the game, the experience, whatever, everything. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of the game, and what was your experience of the video?
I haven't finished watching it yet.
That's fine. It's long.
What I liked on it so far. I mean, I liked it so far. Definitely something that I would play and try. It's a weird, fun game. But I liked it. So, I don't think there's any game that you've ever played that I didn't like or want to try or had like a curiosity about. So if you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, Tyson plays games on his YouTube channel called Tyson Saner Gamer.
Yes.
And so usually I watch every single episode, and then I determine whether or not I want to play this game. And so in a way, it's good because I get to see the gameplay and get to experience it, and then I go purchase it. It was like the same thing with Subnautica, Fortnite. Same thing with Destroy All Humans, for example. That was the recent one I just downloaded.
It's a great game.
It is. It's addicting.
Well, it's so tell me more about your Destroy All Humans experience, if you could.
Right now, I am unfortunately I haven't been able to play in the past week, but I'm right now I'm on the level where he has to lure a human from the fair back to the ship for experimentation or interrogation or whatever it is. So,
yeah. Which character is being lured back?
I think isn't it the pageant queen or whatever, the Miss Fair?
It is the pageant queen. Yes, I can't remember her.
Queen, yes.
Miss Rutabaga, Miss Turnip. Who knows? Turnip Seed. I can't remember what it is. It was actually. Is it in a town, Turnip Seed, New Jersey, or something like that?
That would be hysterical if it was. Because
I think one of those towns is supposed to be in New Jersey, because New Jersey keeps coming up. It's Hunter's from New Jersey, for these of you who've never listened before, and also lives in New Jersey. And I'm sorry, you live in New Jersey. Are you actually from New Jersey? Because you've lived in different places.
Oh yes, 100%.
So you're originally from New Jersey and you moved around.
Yes.
Okay, so New Jersey, of course, who people who are old time radio fans will note that War of the Worlds. The crash was in New Jersey. Famous.
Everything happened bad in New Jersey.
Well, I mean, Nothing But Trouble, I think, was set in Delaware.
Wrong.
If I can't remember. Or was it in New Jersey? It might have been New Jersey. I don't know.
Might have been New Jersey. I mean, if aliens are going to go someplace, in New Jersey, then it's always southern New Jersey or northern New Jersey for some odd reason.
So, but Destroy All Humans, yeah, your experience of it so far is you're pretty early in the game. But what do you think of Just tell me about things you like about it, real quickly, as long as we're talking about it.
I like the fact that you have a flying UFO and that you can use your laser beam to shoot things at with your death ray. Mm-hmm. And I also like the fact that you can use your mind and pop out a human's brain and levitate objects and people and just throw them.
Yeah. Or
you're in my way.
Did you pick up and throw cows?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, it's one of the missions there. So, how hysterically did you laugh when you threw your first cow?
Oh my God, I died laughing, dude, because I saw you do it, and then but when I actually did it, I was like, this is pretty hysterical, and I'm just because I think one of the aside from picking up the cow and throwing it, which was pretty funny, mm-hmm. One of the more hysterical aspects of this game is when you go and you have to collect human DNA or you're collecting brains for harvesting, mm-hmm. And the way the body kind of goes like this and does kind of goofy things when the top of the head explodes.
Kind of ragdolls and sort of kind of whips, yeah. But sometimes it just sort of collapses and then like kind of like a little extra like surge of as though it's vomiting its brain out its head, which is probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever said.
But it's disgusting, but it's downright hysterical.
It is very funny. It is very funny. Yeah. It wouldn't, if it were more photorealistic, it would not be funny. It would be horrifying. Although I'll tell you, it would be horrifying the first few times. Then after a while, it would probably be funny again. I feel like,
yeah, it would be. Well, it's definitely because it's not the graphics is not. Let's say if you were to compare it to Alien Isolation, which is an alien horror game from the Alien franchise movies.
Yeah, much less funny. Much less funny.
Yes, much less funny, but. It's not as real as the graphics is not as real as Alien Isolation, obviously, but that's why it's a fun game. It's fun in its own separate way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where if you're looking for like a fun time with aliens and everything, you just play Destroy All Humans. And of course, if you're looking for something like on the edge of your seat, like heart-stopping and scary, you would go with Alien Isolation, which I'm also in the middle of playing. So.
So yeah, that's a fun game. So you got okay. I haven't played Alien Isolation yet, so I can't ask you how far along you are in it because I don't have a frame reference. And
I just started it. I'm basically on a space station right now, trying to restore power. So it's very early in the game.
So yeah, the game Everything is going back to that real quick is pretty interesting, and also. I do keep saying I'm not sure I should call it a game, but I might as well because it's called Everything Game. So, it was created by some people who made a game, also a person rather, I believe it was one person team, who created a game called Mountain, which is the experience of being a mountain. I think I have Mountain. I just haven't played it yet or experienced it yet. Anyway, it's different than pretty much any other game that I've done on my channel. I can't think of one that's even similar. Like, I mean, mechanically similar in that it's it's a third person essentially. You're guiding something else around rather than seeing it from their perspective. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, like, it's not a shooter. It's not a roguelike. It's exploration and observation and finding bits of lectures from Alan Watts recorded. There's a great How Did This Get Played episode, which is a podcast or soundcast that I frequently listen to, updates every Monday, where they discuss the game Everything with improv comedian John Gabris, who's been on Comedy Bing Bang several times, and also at least one episode of Getting Done with High. And it's pretty funny. They had him on before. He did the Sega Saturn, I think it was, Japan only released game called Seaman, 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 with Leonard Nimoy.
Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to gaming, when it comes to gaming YouTube channels, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends for like 100 years or anything like that, but you would be the one I would, if I had kids, you would be the one I would allow my kids to watch.
I appreciate. Well, I have made some kid-friendly content, certainly.
Right.
Not all of it is.
No, but as far as like, and you're gonna have to bleep this out, Tyson. I'm sorry, but as far as like how you talk, for example, like you're not sitting there saying, "Oh, you damn piece of shit, I'm gonna blow your fucking heads off," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You're not like screaming. You're not loud.
That's true.
There's been a couple of different gamers out there on YouTube that just like the language alone, you wouldn't be able to allow your kids to watch because of the really colorful language that comes out of their mouth while they're playing the games.
This is generally true. I generally find it pretty funny, but they don't tend to censor themselves. Like, we can watch Try Guys videos because they censor most of their they have. They don't. Yeah, I'd say they both censor most of their content. They have bleeps on it. They still say a lot of things, but they'll bleep stuff. I mean, it's because they probably want to get more more audience potential. But yeah, no, I've definitely done kid-friendly content. In fact, I have more kid-friendly content coming. I've got a game called Epic Mickey 2, which was free on Xbox within the last year. I can't remember how long it's been. And I always wanted to play Epic Mickey 1, but I didn't have a Wii, because it was on the Wii. So then they made Epic Mickey 2 for other platforms, including the Xbox 360, and I thought, well, one day I'll play this, and it became free, so I, in fact, have played it. I can tell it's one of those games I'll need to play a lot more in order to get the mechanic down, and also I'll probably have to do a lot of editing unless people want to see long plays. And
long plays can be good sometimes, though.
It can be, yeah. I mean, it can be, yeah. I've definitely watched long plays before, or people playing like for, I just can't think of what the longest... Probably a Markiplier video. I believe he's done a 4-hour video once before, and I don't tend to watch it in one sitting. Then again, combined hours, I've probably watched more Markiplier than anybody else. I definitely watched a good share of PewDiePie back in the day. And Jacksepticeye I really like. And I think Jacksepticeye and Markiplier are probably neck and neck for the amount of video game player watching I've done as far as people on YouTube. Also, Kelsey and Peachy K's got some fun content. She's on BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed Player? BuzzFeed Video? BuzzFeed, I can't remember what the channel is called, but it's multiplayer. BuzzFeed multiplayer. Yeah. She has some good, not just gameplay stuff, but also some other game-related content. Like she did something Link-related. Or she trained like... I feel like Link was what it was. Trained like Link, or trained... She I don't know. She's a... I'll put her information somewhere in the thing. I couldn't spell her last name if my life depended on it at the moment, but I can pronounce it because I've heard her say it.
Some people have like oh my god. So when it comes to me, okay. So dear listener,
I just can't visualize it well enough to spell it with any confidence. Go ahead.
Dear listener, when it comes to me, if we've been doing this in October, almost 4 years now, and so for every guest that we've had on together, Tyson and I, of course, I usually request that he introduce the guest because I'm gonna let everybody in on a little phobia of mine. I think we've been all together long enough to know, or for me to say it, that my phobia is that I will bastardize somebody's name and mutilate it so friggin' badly that it'll just make me look like an asshole. So, yeah, Tyson's going to have fun with this episode. But
but please try and keep it to a minimum from here on out.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
So, to alleviate my fears and my anxiety, that's why I let Tyson just introduce the guest. And it just sounds better coming from him anyway.
Oh, is that why I introduced the guest? Oh, I thought that it was just...
no, it just sounds better coming from you anyway. So, because you have like that voice that the voice. So yeah.
The voice? Oh, what the announcer thing? What?
Like that. You just have like an awesome announcer's type voice, so it just sounds better.
Are you speaking of my desperate need to speak every word as clearly as I possibly can and enunciate, as though my life depended on it?
Right.
Somebody made an observation that that's basically what Kevin Spacey does. It's like because he speaks very clearly when he's doing his like he had this kind of cadence, like especially in like Hurly Burly or Glengarry Glen Ross. But the person who was having this conversation was having it to kind of like de-emphasize the acting prowess of Kevin Spacey, considering how much everybody hates him right now. So
yes,
yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, I think not just Kevin Spacey, but unfortunately, a lot of people hate a lot of actors right now.
I feel like it would be a good time to actually cultivate a Kevin Spacey impression. as long as it wasn't a way of making people like him again, but also, not necessarily rubbing it in, but something that like we have a very similar register, so it would be a shame not to try and develop something.
Oh yeah.
Like I figured out, I was working today, and I came across a phrase, and I started saying it out loud, and I realized I had another impression. It was, let's see if I can. I see, excuse me. I see a suit of armor around the world. Does that sound familiar at all?
I see a suit of... No.
Well, it's the delivery. I see a suit of armor around the world. See, I might not be doing it right, but it's like, that's the thing. It's, hold on. Excuse me. Between the two of us... No, sorry. Between everybody in this room, who is... A, wearing a spangly outfit, I've got to remember the line, and B, not of use. I'm gonna have to work on the lines, but I think I've got the accent. I'm zeroing in on the accent, I should say.
Well, that's the I think that's what makes it is when you nail the accent down perfect.
So should I just tell you who I thought that was supposed to be?
Yes.
That's Tony Stark, as played by Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got this sort of. Excuse me. He's got this way of saying certain things, certain words come out,
yes.
And hard sounds. So, when he says, "I see a suit of armor around the world," there's a lot of suit of armor, suit of armor, suit of armor, suit of armor. He's certain. You know what I'm saying? He's certain sounds. He's got a specific sound to his voice. Anyway.
A good actor, though.
Oh, fantastic! One of the best. One of the best. Robert Downey Jr. is, I've
always said, obviously he has. I've always said that he even though he's even though he's Iron Man, Tony Stark is of course Marvel, but he's kind of like the Bruce Wayne of DC in a lot of ways. Except obviously Batman doesn't have a high-tech fancy suit that can basically fly him around and do all kinds of cool stuff, but
sure.
Doesn't mean that they're not so if you were to strip away Batman, strip away Iron Man, they're just a couple of rich guys. So in a way, if they're just being Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark, they're kind of the same in a lot of ways, except Bruce Wayne is not so much of a playboy as Tony Stark.
Well,
a lot of what Bruce Wayne does is basically for show.
Yeah.
The persona, but Tony Stark is I think more of a, I don't want to say he's an introvert. He's definitely he's more outgoing, where Bruce Wayne is
very outgoing.
More introverted. He's dark.
Well,
he's broody. He's
sure.
Killed my parents and now kick your butt.
I could think of one specific difference about them.
Okay.
And that's that Bruce Wayne only pretends to get drunk.
Yes.
Yeah, and whereas
Tony Stark does get drunk.
Because Tony Stark is an alcoholic. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
He was.
But he was a brilliant alcoholic.
Sure. But it was definitely part of his character. It was definitely an aspect of him that he had an addiction, and he had emotional flaws, and he was, of course Batman also has an addiction and emotional flaws. And he's a detective, so that reminds me that I think Sherlock Holmes supposedly had an addiction to injected cocaine, but that might just be a version of him. I don't know if that is canon as far as the Conan Doyle stuff is concerned.
I never knew, all the years of my life, I never knew that Sherlock Holmes was addicted to anything until very recently.
Right. Well, it's not, yeah. So, again, I'm not sure how much of that is canon. I'm just going to have to read as much Sherlock Holmes as I could find, and also could do research, really. I could just Wikipedia it, probably. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I'm not really big into... I'm not saying that I couldn't get into Sherlock Holmes, but are there different versions of Sherlock Holmes depending on the writers, or is basically just they all try to make him as one character, basically, without any changes?
This is the thing. Here's what I do know. there is the original Sherlock Holmes character as created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There are a certain amount of stories that were written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and those provide the original canon. Most of those books and stories are now in the public domain, which is why they get adapted so much to screen and adapted for TV and whatnot, because nobody owns the rights to it anymore, at least most of the stories, I believe. It could be all of them, not sure. Anyway, so there's Arthur Conan Doyle's version of Sherlock Holmes, which is elements of, you'll find them in like the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmeses are very similar. Like the ones that are a little more outside the way they've been perceived are like the Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, that's more modernized kind of thing. But then again, Sherlock Holmes in the films, which were based on the original books, would modernize in various ways. Even the Basil Rathbone ones would modernize. In fact, like the first 4 Sherlock Holmes films that were made with Basil Rathbone, and also I think Nigel Bruce as Watson, I believe those first 4 were, and I could be wrong on the number, but I'm pretty close. The first ones were they were set in the period in which they were written. So, like the same period that the Robert Downey Jr. ones are in, that's the canon period, is that period of time at least. Early Victorian, turn of the century kind of thing. So, at some point, I don't know how many of these they made. They've made, I'm going to say at least 2, and it could be more than that. Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce actually made, and this was for a different film company, maybe it was Universal. They started making Sherlock Holmes episodes with the same visually Sherlock Holmes, but it was set during World War II because they were being made during World War II. So those were modern for when they were made. But they had the stars from the period pieces in them. Mm-hmm. And there's about 14 of those Nigel Bruce, Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes films, and they're all fantastic. I've seen all of them, and well, I mean, I don't know, they're all fantastic. No, they're all pretty good. They're all definitely worth watching. Most of them aren't very long. Many of them are only about an hour and 10 minutes.
I think
you find most of them on YouTube, I think. Sorry, what?
No, I'll definitely have to start watching the movies anyway.
But the answer to your question is, I mean, there are basic stories that are recycled that are based on the Arthur Conan Doyle ones, and then there are ones that people have written since then. And I believe like there's a movie called The 7% Solution, which is, I think, where Sherlock Holmes' addiction is talked about, and that one was written by, I believe, Nicholas Myers, who, as you might recall, directed Star Trek 2 and 6 VI. I'm doing, sorry, 6.
Well, at least Sherlock Holmes did have an addiction to cocaine. At least he didn't, snort some coke and then, kind of, go beast on everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. He could have turned out a lot worse for the wear.
Oh, yeah. Rough up the suspects.
And we'll have a suspect of fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's a really good thing that I mean, listen, I've never seen anybody do coke before, so I don't know. I've always assumed it made him angry or something like that. So I'm not, I'm just glad he didn't beat anybody up during interrogation. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Yeah, I imagine coke could make some people angry. It's hard to say. I mean, the movies, it usually just makes people arrogant.
True.
Or actually, so my favorite portrayals of cocaine in film are probably Ellis from Die Hard is probably the most notable one. Hans, Bubby, that guy.
Yes.
Hart Bachner. Anyway, there's that guy.
And Tony Montana.
And Tony Montana. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. But Hurley Burley. Everybody in Hurley Burley. Especially Sean Penn and Chaz Palminteri. And Gary Shandling. Wow. Everybody in there who's doing cocaine. But Sean Penn kind of exemplifies, I think, the main vibe of it. And it seems to everybody. But maybe that's the point. Because he's kind of the focal character. Is everybody who's high on cocaine in that they have this perception problem where it's like they seem to think everything is about them when it's not. So there's when there's defense. So there's a lot of defensiveness happening. There's a lot of like passive aggression. It's intense, but it's great acting, great cast. Like both, it's not only is it's Sean Penn, it's also I think Robin Wright Penn is in it. So like, Meg Ryan, Chaz Palminteri, Kevin Spacey again, Anna Paquin, Gary Shandling. I believe I've named everybody. And
It's got a strong cast.
It does. Well, it feels like it was based on a play, and it may have been. David Raby, I think was the name of it. So it feels like a mammoth, kind of. And also, I hope I've named everybody, because there's not very many people in the cast. But they're all terrific, and it clips along, and it's uncomfortable and hilarious at times, and just, it's pretty amazing. Gary Shandling is fantastic in it. Like really, like seriously good. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I always found that any movie or TV show that can make you feel every single emotion on the spectrum has done its job in a big bad way.
Yeah. So that reminds me, I just recently watched a film a couple of days ago. It's an Amazon original called Radioactive.
Radioactive, okay.
Yeah, it's about Marie Curie. And it stars Rosamund Pike as Marie Curie. And
I will have to watch it.
It's pretty good. It's based on a graphic novel.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a pretty interesting presentation. Beautifully shot. I could not tell you who any of the other actors in it are, unfortunately, because I cannot remember any of their names, but I know who Rosamund Pike is, so that's my shortcomings, not being able to remember these fine actors' names. Everybody's good in it, great in it. All the performances are great.
I'll have to this week. I'll have to take a look and watch it.
And it's historically interesting, is what I wanted to end on. Okay, well, I think that's about all the time we have for Antisocial Show. I'm Tyson Sainer.
And I'm Hunter Block.
Be decent to each other.
Absolutely. Peace.
Have a good time, folks.